Are you looking at filing your own self-assessment? In this video, I'm going to give you some fantastic pointers that are going to help you with getting your self-assessment tax return sorted without any issues. So it's that time of year again, self-assessment tax return season here in the UK. And in this video, I'm just going to run through some pointers that are going to help you file your self-assessment tax return, reduce the amount of tax you pay, and make sure that you get it in on time. The first thing to mention is basically when it comes to your self-assessment, give yourself as much time as possible. So get started now. Don't leave it until the 31st of January deadline. Don't be kind of starting, okay, yeah, I'll do it on the 30th. I'll do it after Christmas. Well, actually, it's best to start now because things take time. By the time you log in and you forgot your government gateway, you forgot your UTR, you forgot this, it's going to take time for you to get access to those, for them to be posted to you or reissued. So for this reason, get started now because there's probably a few loose strings that you need to tidy up before you can actually get stuck straight in with the tax return. The second is start preparing all of your documents because, again, exactly with the codes, these might take a lot of time to come. You're looking at your tax certificates, your mortgage interest statements, looking at invoices. Get all of your documents neatly organized and arranged. Start saving them on the cloud or some kind of file document system. Start backing them up and start arranging all of your different sales invoices, all of your expense, all of your rental invoices. Start looking for invoices so that you've got the amounts that you can claim, and just start collating the documents. Because again, it's quite often that you're going to need to speak to your estate agent, get those invoices reissued, speak to the mortgage lender or the bank, get those mortgage interest statements reissued. So quite often there's a lot of documents where you think, I need to get these. And as always, they take a couple of days, if not weeks to come. So definitely, for one, get started now because you need to get access to all of the relevant portals, the government gateway, and then get started with actually organising your documents because, like I mentioned, they're going to take a little bit of while to come together as well. Start preparing the information. So HMRC and the software on their website, they do give you kind of basic help, but it's actually best to do it on some kind of third-party software, or if you are kind of looking at analysing it, such as Landlord, that's a good option, or if you have just a simple Excel, that can be a good way of doing it as well. So you can kind of have all of your income, all of your expenses, list it out, and you've got your kind of working papers prepared to actually clearly show what your income is, what your expenses are, and it's just to make it a lot easier so that you've got the backup documents if HMRC ever do ask for the calculations, and then you can just copy and paste the numbers across into the government gateway when you're submitting your self-assessment tax return. And of course, make sure you're claiming as much in expenses as possible. So a lot of people don't do this correctly, especially when you're completing your self-assessment tax return yourself. But quite often, whenever we review previously submitted tax returns, the expenses are underclaimed. That's definitely the thing that we see the most because as a property investor, as a business owner, you just think, okay, this is money that's physically gone in, physically gone out, and this is what I've paid, so okay, that's my profit. But actually, there's so many different additional deductions that you can claim for when it comes to your tax return. One of the most obvious ones is using your home as office. Of course, you don't physically see this expense going in and out of your business bank account, but it's been paid for. You've probably got a home office where you're working from. You probably purchased a laptop, and you might have used your personal card, but actually, is that a business asset? Can you get a tax deduction for it? Same with your own personal vehicle, a lot of business travel, 45p a mile, or you might even have a dedicated company van. So these are the kind of additional tax deductions which an accountant typically will highlight to you, but ones that you might miss if you're doing your self-assessment tax return. So actually have a think about all of the different expenses that you're incurring in your business and personally, and if it's a personally incurred expense, is it a business expense? Because just because you paid for it using your personal bank account, your personal debit or credit card, that doesn't mean you can't claim it. You absolutely can still claim it as a business expense on your self-assessment tax return. And of course, if you aren't already, it's not going to help you this time around, but it will help you next tax return season, is make sure you've got a separate business bank account. So whether that's for your sole trade or your property business, do have a completely separate bank account for all the money that goes in and money goes out, because it's just going to make it so much easier to keep a track of the income and expenditure and actually prepare your self-assessment tax return next year round. And the last tip would be just make sure that you submit it way in advance of the deadline. So the penalties for being late with your self-assessment tax return, they start from £100 and they just get more and more and more the later it is. So absolutely get started as soon as possible and actually get it in as soon as possible as well. Don't have it hanging over your head over Christmas and the new year. I'd say as soon as you're watching this video, you think, okay, thanks for reminding me, Josh, I'm on it, and get it submitted as soon as possible. So what I'm actually going to do for everybody that's watching this video, I'm going to give you a free Excel workbook that's going to help you complete your self-assessment tax return. All you do is click that link in the comments below and I'll send that over to you completely free. If you found this video useful, as always, guys, give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. Until next time.